Oh no. It's time. I have to read this now. I've put this off for so long. So Kayla will either ruin my life forever or change my life in the best way or the worst way. We don't know. We're gonna find out. This is like well over 700 pages. This is like a Bible, but a lot of pages are like this, so maybe it won't be that bad. But I did the math. If I read about 61 to 62 pages a day until the day before this video goes live, you see me, I can get it done. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Allie from Hardback Hoarders read this in a little over 24 hours for a 24-hour readathon that she did on her channel a while ago. So I know it's possible to read this quickly. But I've also heard a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people have DNF'd it. A lot of people have hated it. It's an experience, to say the least. I hear a lot of people don't get past the introduction. I'm so very excited to finally be reading this and diving in. But again, I'm still so very nervous. But all I know is a couple buys a house, and the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. What's up with that kooky magic? We don't know. So my plan is to just read my 60 pages a day, give or take, depending on how it goes. This is probably going to be the book that I'm like consistently vlogging about the most for this entire vlog, because most of them it's easy to like wrap up my thoughts, especially when I'm reading so many books. But this one, I feel like it needs its moment. So this vlog can either be like 45 minutes long or it can be like 2.5 hours long. I don't know yet. But it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a good time. So we're going to start this today. I'll check in when I read my 60 pages. You know, it's like serious reading when you need a pillow. And the hair goes up. Whew. We're officially starting page 3, part 1. We'll see how it goes. Right, Finn? You excited? Hi. So, a full-ass work day later, I made it from page 41 to page 76. Oh my god. I started reading about 10 in the morning. No, earlier. Oh my god. I think I started reading around like 9. And then I took like a break in between, because it's a lot. So I was very distracted. I was constantly like trying to do other things, picking up stuff. I was still at work, so I was still like doing work things when I needed. Took some breaks, picked it up. I read like all of the second appendix, which that's cool. I had to decode a letter, so that was really fun. Super casual, normal things that you do in books. So I read all of this as well, which is a little bit more. That makes me feel a little bit better, because it started 5:81, ended 6:44. So I did like read. It just doesn't feel like I read, because I'm still here. This is a shameful progress. Like, it's fine. My tabbing system has gotten a little bit bigger, nothing crazy. These are the tabs that I'm using, very like earth tones. The light blue is scary scenes. The red is still for like the actual writing, editing of this book that I find fascinating or interesting and I want to keep in mind. And then the yellow is for language, linguistics. That's happening a lot. I love it. I've added the dark blue tab for quotes that I really like, things that I really like. This book makes me laugh. This book makes me scared. It's a good time. And then tentatively, I have a gray that I'm using for things about the house, because this book surrounds the house and like the weird things happening. And we finally got our like first real taste of what's going on with the house. So I tabbed that because I thought it was pretty interesting and freaky. And I also have my first sticky note because I'm scared to, I don't want to like write in the book, but I do have black sticky notes just in case, you know. And there's this one part where he's talking, the editor, not Zimpano, but the other guy, whom or something, he's talking about this girl, and he says, "These were the next 2 words she ever said to me, and wow. I don't know why, but her voice went off in my head like a symphony. A great symphony, a sweet symphony, a great fucking sweet symphony. I don't know what I'm saying. I know absolutely shit about symphonies." And then I put in my sticky note, "Alexa, play I Hear a Symphony by Cody Fry." Because I fucking love Cody Fry. He is my obsession right now. So it only made sense. So that's where I'm at. I read a lot of letters, and they had nothing to do with anything. I don't really get it. Like, I kind of get it, but, like, I didn't really get it. I'm still really enjoying the footnotes, and I'm enjoying the house story. Sometimes Zimpano goes on tangents, and I'm like, what are we saying? What is this for? What is this about? And the only thing that I don't love about this book is the way women are talked about. But, like, it's the 90s. It's kind of expected for horror. I don't think we're supposed to really like this guy, so it's whatever. It's cool. It's fine. But he also worships the ground the stripper walks on. So, pros and cons. Pros and cons, man. So that's where I'm at. That's what I've accomplished, but, like, not accomplished. Because, truthfully speaking, I need to read all of this before this video can go up. Which is not a lot of time, because I procrastinated this read so much. And then there's also, like, the rest of the appendix. I'm not going to worry about the index. The index is just, like, it's actually kind of cool. I haven't seen anything in a book like any of this. But I think that it's cool how it's, like, there's words, and then it tells you what pages those words are on. So, like, luck is on page 16, 128, 268, etc. And I kind of think that's cool. Doesn't necessarily apply to what I need right now, which is fine. Hoping to see more of the exhibits and appendix soon. I sometimes get a little confused on, like, what am I supposed to actually go and find and what am I not supposed to find. But besides that, it's going swell. We're having a time. I'm going to keep reading this, and hopefully I'll make a significant dent this evening. I do have a bang to get me through this moment in time. Hopefully, basically, I'm going to try and pull an all-nighter so that I can read a lot of this. And I feel like the spooky dark hours is, like, the best time to read this book, you know? The atmosphere. So, that's what I'm doing. Whew, wish me luck! Hi, let's talk good old House of Leaves. So I have indefinitely put too much confidence into myself and my capabilities for reading this. I've marked off the, like, index and the appendix and stuff, so they're a bit easier to find. I had, like, a bunch of bookmarks at first. It wasn't helping. And then I've got a tabbing system going so far. It's a little bit loose. It's a lot of it chaotic. I have picked this up twice now. I told myself that I would read, like, 60 pages a day or whatever. to get this done in time instead of we're just going to keep pushing the video until I can actually read this and get it done. The issue is I, on average, can read like 40 pages in an hour. That's like my normal. This, I can read about 20 pages in an hour. So it's definitely like slowing me down. It's a lot to digest. There's a lot happening. Am I reading this correctly? That's the main question. I don't know. Luckily, my brain is scattered and flows sort of like this. Like I can go from one conversation, make my way around, and then circle back to it somehow, and it makes sense to me. Doesn't make sense for a lot of people that I talk to. So for me, how I have been reading this is like a mostly normal book, like from top to bottom. I'm reading, maybe I should explain the book. Would that help? I don't know. Basically, there's two stories happening at the same time. Simultaneously, you are following Zampano, who is documenting and talking about specifically the Navidson project or record, which is a photographer's film on this house that they bought that is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and they're trying to figure out this phenomenon. And you're following Zampano retelling what happens in the movie because there's like no documentation of it, there's no proof of it out there. And then you have footnotes following Johnny Trant, who found Zampano dead in his apartment with his friend Lude, and kind of was really fascinated by what they found and is like looking into his research, and therefore this book. So I'm reading it from just like reading Zampano's conversations about Navidson and the house, and then I'm reading the footnotes, and then I'm reading back to Zampano, and like back and forth. But sometimes there will be like 4 pages of Johnny's footnotes, him going on a tangent just like about his life and his journey through Zampano's works. And so you're reading it for 4 pages, and then you go back, you pick up where you left off from Zampano's conversation and story. And so it can be hard to follow in that sense, and I can see why this is like very overwhelming for people and hard for them to follow, because if you're not like, if you can't remember what had happened 5 pages ago with a totally different story, it's hard to just like pick it back up. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think Kayla read this twice through, once just reading Zampano, and then the second time going back and reading the footnotes all the way through. I'm not doing that. I'm reading it like a normal traditional book, front to back. You've got Zampano's works here, and then the citations here, and then the citations lead into Johnny's works, and then Johnny continues over here in a different font. Love the different font. Makes me feel like I'm reading really fast when I'm obviously not. It's a lot though. Like, I fully register. It is a lot, and I'm enjoying it. I'm actually liking it. It's really easy to get into. I found an ambiance room, which I will link down in the description for you guys if you pick this up and you want like a 2-hour ambiance to read with it. I'm actually enjoying both stories. I'm very interested. My intrigue is very high, but it's a lot. It's not something that I can just pick up and quickly fall back into. I took a 3-day break from this, and once I picked it back up last night, I was like, I don't remember what's going on, even though it was like a start of a chapter. So I am trying to read based off chapters. So like, I'm now on chapter 5, which is on page 41. And I know it's dense right now. Like, I'm reading like full pages of stuff. I do know like further on, it's not going to be that case. So it'll get a bit easier to read. But it's a lot, and I'm enjoying it. I'm very intrigued. I am excited to see where this goes. There was one scene, as you can tell. No, you can't. Right here. This is a little blue tab. That part had my heart a little bit erased. To get a better idea of this, focus on these words, and whatever you do, do not let your eyes wander past the perimeter of this page. Now imagine just beyond your peripheral vision, maybe behind you, maybe to the side of you, maybe even in front of you. But right now, you can't see it. Something is quietly closing in on you. So quiet, in fact, you can only hear it as silence. Find those pockets without sound. That's where it is, right at this moment, but don't look. Keep your eyes here. Take a deep breath. Go ahead. Take an even deeper one. Only this time, as you start to exhale, try to imagine how fast it will happen, how hard it's going to hit you, how many times it will stab your jugular with its teeth, or are they nails? Don't worry. That particular detail doesn't matter. Because before you have time to even process that you should be moving, you shouldn't be running, you should at the very least be flailing your arms, you sure as hell should be getting rid of this book, you won't have time to even scream. Don't look. I didn't. Of course I looked. That part, I was like, ooh, okay. It's very fascinating, and I'm having a good time with it. I'm giving my friends a little like sneak peek of what I've been reading, and like, they don't know about like what this vlog is, but I was like, this is my project, this is what I'm reading, oh no. And Daphne got scared and stopped reading it because it said something about like you'd be cursed if you read it, and so she stopped. And I was like, ain't gonna stop me, we are doing it, we are committed to the video, or else I can't properly definitively rank my thoughts. So, oh man, what an update. So I did the math. This is going to approximately take me 24 hours to read at this rate. No, I don't have a plan like Allie from Hardback Hoarders to read this in 24 hours. Could I? Yes. Am I going to? No, because I don't want to cause a reading slump or anything. But I was home alone last night when reading this, and I was a little bit scared. I was like, oh, but nothing crazy happened. I also think the ambience makes it way scarier than it is. The ambiance, freaky. It's a little bit spooky. It was a lot of fun. But I am going to continue slowly digesting this and getting through it the best that I can. I want to like sit down and really like read for a few hours, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Probably not for this week. Maybe on Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday. We will see. We'll see. I'm hoping to like sit down and like really read for a couple hours at some point this week, just to really like get into it. But for the most part, I'll probably be continuing to pick it up at 20-page spurts, you know, just to like keep me on track, but also keep me engaged. So that's my update. It was a long update. I had a lot to say. I'm having fun though, so I'm excited to continue, and then I will check in. I've got, oh, it's so exciting, so fun. Okay, I'll see you guys later. So, one, love the drunk, page-long conversation we have about cats. Sweet. I don't think I am smart enough for this book, because for a few pages now, there have been weird paragraph breaks where there's either a dot or it's a circle that's filled in, or a white circle that's not filled in. I hope that makes sense. Randomly cutting up sentences and paragraphs on the page, and I don't know what it means. And there was this one part where I thought it was like a Morse code, as they're talking about like the SOS situation during exploration number 4, and I thought it was Morse code, and I was like, okay, cool, well, dot is E, and then I was like dot 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 dash dash dash, and I'm like, that's not anything in Morse code, so now I don't know what it means. And I just don't feel smart enough, and I don't know if those types of things are gonna get wrapped up in my brain where it's like, I'm gonna understand what these dots mean. It's fine, I'm fine, it's fine. Something that I am enjoying about this, and it's so complicated, as I've probably mentioned over the span of reading this, I do like it, even though like I don't think I'm catching on to everything and I don't understand everything. It is just like dense, It's a lot. It's exhausting. But I'm currently at a part, and this is something that's been progressing over the story, specifically in Johnny's footnotes, if you will, I guess. But he starts talking about how it's getting harder to leave the house and made me feel sick to my stomach. I also experienced this awful tightening across my chest. My temples instantly register a rise in pulse rate. And that's not the half of it. Unfortunately, I don't think I can do justice to how truly strange this all is. A paradox of sort. Since on one hand I'm laughing at myself, mocking the irrational nature of my anxiety, what I continue, in fact, to perceive as a complete absurdity. I mean, Johnny, what do you really have to be afraid of? While on the other hand, at the same time, mind you, finding myself absolutely terrified, if not of something in particular, there were no particulars as far as I could see, then of the reaction itself, the undeniable and impeachable as Zampano's black trunk, which that part I know you probably won't understand, but just like the topic of like anxiety just being so ridiculous and being so self-aware of my anxiety being as crippling as it can be and just holding me back. Today I had a panic attack. I had a rough day to begin with. And I don't know House of Leaves is necessarily the comfort book for that. But I was having a bad mental health morning, which I've been stressed about something, and that came to light today. And so I had to do something out of my comfort zone, go to a new place, a different city, to pick up a package, basically. And I cried at work about it because I was so stressed about it. And it caused me a lot of anxiety and fear, even though I knew that I was being ridiculous, because once I did the task, I would be fine. But I was unable to focus at work. I was stressed about it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Anytime I did start thinking about it, I would start crying. And it was so pathetic. It was so irrational and so dumb. And so I left work early. I went and took care of it, and it was perfectly fine. It was a quick in and out. The traffic wasn't bad. Everything that I was so stressed about and hyping up in my head turned out to go exactly how I thought and be perfectly fine. But I was still so stressed about it. And so, oddly enough, I'm finding comfort in him talking about anxiety and being able to relate to that. And just his case is a little bit different because, how the house and this research has a different effect. But it is relatable, and I'm enjoying this. I've added a new tab system. So now pink is for when I relate to things. I have 2 of those. Anyways, that's my long-winded way of saying hi, what's up. I'm going to keep reading because I am enjoying my time. I just wish that I was going a little bit faster because I feel like the world's slowest fucking reader trying to get through this. But I'm currently still in the process of reading full pages and haven't really been bouncing around as often. But I know to come we're going to get shorter pages. So I'm hoping that this won't take me as long as it feels like it is right now. Yes. It's time. Today will hopefully be the day, because I have this video planned for tomorrow. So I have 382 pages linearly to go. And that's a lot of pages for me with how slow I've been reading this especially. But I know some of the pages are going to start getting a little bit more funky, a little bit easier and quicker to read because they're not all full pages, but there's most of them are still full pages. I was psyching my brain out the entire time I've been reading this. Well, most of the pages are going to be blank. No, there's still a lot of text, Sam. But I have officially gotten to some of the funky pages, which honestly is fun and gimmicky, but at times I'm where am I going next? Some of the things, there was a whole ass column for pages just going on and on and on about types of houses. I'm skimming that stuff. I've been reading this book for 6 months now because I keep putting it down. I want to be with Navidson. I want to be with Zampano. I want to be with Johnny. I don't care about the houses or the types of things that you put in a house. It asked me to picture it. I don't know half of these things are. I'm not smart enough, truly, for such a book. Although it's fun. I don't know how to like explain or talk about this book. I'm so excited to watch the live show and like Katie Coulson's video on it. And literally anybody who has ever posted a video on this, like once I finish this, that's all I'm doing. I'm in a vegetable and I'm just gonna listen to everybody's thoughts. But I got my tabs, got my sticky notes, got my metallic pens. It's gonna be fun. My most fun that I've had with this book so far would have to be, let me get the pages for you. Page 53, where there's a part where he starts talking about a sympathy. And so I say, Alexa, play Hear a Symphony by Cody Fry. Great song. And then yesterday when I was reading, I was in the appendix. Oh no. Have I lost it? I actually really like the poetry, I will be honest with you. This book's gonna make me lose it simply because I can't find anything. How am I supposed to remember all this, let alone find it? And then there's this poem that is, you shall be my roots. You shall be my roots, and I will be your shade. Through the sun burns my leaves. You shall quench my thirst, and I will feed you fruit, though time takes my seed. And when I'm lost and I can tell you nothing of this earth, you will give me hope, and my voice you will always hear, and my hand you will always have. For I will shelter you, and I will comfort you. And even when we are nothing left, not even in death, I will remember you. And just like the vibes of that was really reminding me of my favorite musical, Rent. And so I put, Alexa, play I'll Cover You from the Rent soundtrack. So that's been my use of sticky notes so far. Really important stuff. But yeah, then I started like jamming out to that song yesterday because I love that song. It makes me so emotional. I love the Rent soundtrack. Anyway, that's it. I'm procrastinating. Can you tell? I'm gonna go. I should read. We're gonna go. We're gonna read. I'm a little heartbroken. I thought this was supposed to be scary, not sad. What the hell? I am almost crying. Look at these sweet boys. Look at them. Those are my sweet boys. Look at this sweet girl. I don't like animal cruelty in my books. It really hurts my feelings, and it makes me really sad. It's like the one thing about horror that just really gets me. Like, I get it, shock factors, and just, it happens, but like, I don't want it. I don't want to read about it. I don't want to hear it. Fuck this lady. I know she's not real and it's all fiction, because that's what this entire book is fiction, but like, God, hope she dies. Unfortunately, I have 130 pages left. 67 of those are going to be like the short minimal pages, which means that like I have 63 full pages to read. And it's not that I can't do it, I'm just at the most boring part because it's a break between the escape from the house and the next excursion into the house. And so it's a lot of just philosophical debates between people and like their theories of basically our main character, Navidson, basically like their theories of why he's going back to the house. And I just don't care. I really do prefer the scenes in the house. I've tabbed this a little bit, and a lot of the things that I tab are like the character stuff. Like I felt emotional during different parts. Like I was emotional about Tom. There's this one really sweet part. Tom's just great. Tom's the best guy. There's one part where Tom's drunk because, you know, it's been a little wild. It's been a little crazy. Do you know why the floor is your best friend? And his brother's like, the floor is always there for you. And he says, that's right, Tom whispers, just like you. Like, the character moments make me just so happy because this is sad. Like, I have not been scared. Let's see. The last time I felt any type of fear was on page 71. That's a whole lot of pages to not be scared for a horror book. And so this book is, I kid you not, sad and emotional and really fucking sad. And so the parts that I like are seeing how our characters interact with each other and like those more tender moments. The dialogue's always my favorite, which there's very little of that in this. And then I don't love Johnny's parts, but they help break up the text. And so when we've gone a while without Johnny really giving a lot of input, like the last input I got was like rather small in comparison to this rather big, large body of text. And so I've just been skimming a lot of it because like the science I don't care about and you cannot make me read it. But we stopped talking to Johnny so much, and so I'm like, okay, I don't care. And it's getting to the point where like I'm not even properly skimming anymore. I'm just like, my eyes is just glazing over. So long-winded way of saying I'm going to bed. I really wanted to finish this tonight, and it's not that I'm like tired, I just need a break from it because I've been reading this, I kid you not, for too many hours now. Like, my fire is dead and I'm out of wood. It has been so long. I'm out of caffeine. Everybody in the house is asleep except for Austin. I think he's partying. So I guess somebody else is still up with me, just in a completely different way. But it's just like I really want to get to the parts where it starts picking up. Yeah, see, like I'm almost at a Johnny part, but his part's like kind of long, and it's just like so much text right now that I just need a break. Like I want to get to the weird stuff. I want to get to these pages where it makes me feel better. And so it'll be nice, 130 pages tomorrow where I can just check it off and just get it done. But until then, a bitch is gonna sleep. I will re-enter the world tomorrow after I literally... Is it the right thing to do to like wake up and just like read House of Leaves immediately? Probably not, but we're gonna do it anyway. I'm hoping not to sleep in so that I can just get it done and then I can hopefully edit the video. But oh boy, howdy. What a time. It was going so well for a while. Like I was having a really fun time and then it just started going real downhill because it was just getting really boring. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Get back to the people that I care about. I'm going to bed. I'm procrastinating everything in my existence. Okay, peace, bye. Hi. Much procrastination later. Woke up early, had like a nice morning, got a few things done, was a bit productive. Sat down, I've got my candy cane, hot cocoa, and I'm gonna finish this book. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. 132 pages to go, 67 of them being short. I can do it. This hot chocolate is so fucking good. So good. Okay. The lighting's not great. Deal with it. The night needs to end. We've read it. I read it. This is now my biggest accomplishment. You can tell by the tabs how my enjoyment level went. Like, it started off pretty alright, and then it kind of just became a slog. But I finished watching Kayla's Literally Dead book club live show for it with her co-host, and I'm in the middle of watching Katie Colson's video, and so it's been fun to watch. I truly, if this was like a solo activity, like if I was just reading it to read it, I would have given up. I would have said absolutely not, we're not doing this. But because like I'm reading it for myself to say like I read it and I get it, but also because I can watch other people's videos and fully understand and like get in on the theories and stuff, because that was truly like the most interesting and fun part is being able to talk with people about the theories. So with that said, thoughts. How am I rating this? I don't know. So basically, after watching the live show, I remembered vaguely when Kayla read it, which was now like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember watching her reading vlog where she kind of talked about reading it, and she read it twice, I believe. Like once where it was just the Zampano storyline following the Novitzin record, and then again reading through all of Johnny's footnotes. And then I want to say she might have read it linear after that. I don't really remember. I read it completely linear because it wasn't until after when I learned that Aaron was reading it chapter by chapter. So chapter 1, read all of the Novitzin records, and then read the chapter again, going over Johnny's and having like the full picture. And I feel like that might have been a little bit easier to digest. Luckily, for the most part, I have a pretty good memory, so it wasn't too hard like flip-flopping around. Granted, if you read it in the way that like it's the way that they have it, it makes sense and it works, but every once in a while you will get lost. And I do think it's kind of the purpose. Like everyone says that the book is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. Like you're gonna get lost, and you just have to kind of accept that and just let the ball roll and just like be there for the journey. Hearing all of the theories has been my favorite part, because it's really put more of the story into perspective. Because I'm gonna be so honest with all of you. If you are interested in reading House of Leaves, read it because you want to, because like there's something about it that intrigues you that you're interested in. But I don't recommend reading this. I would not recommend this to anybody in my life. Oh my God. I don't think people will enjoy this. I don't think that this is for everybody. I have dyslexia, so like this definitely was a struggle to read at times. Like it, for the most part, worked out. Every once in a while, like with the typos, there's a section where like all of the S's were replaced with F's. And, like, normally that's fine, but every once in a while it, like, trips up my brain and, like, like, skips a couple bit. And so, like, this is a book that you skim. You do not read every single word. Most of the footnotes are just there to be there, and you can just skim right over them. The mix of fiction with reality was very strange. Like, Stephen King and Donna Tartt are in this. Is that okay? But yeah, like, it was just like it was an experience. It was a time. I read it. I don't know how I'm rating it. The Navidson Records I thought was very interesting. It was my favorite part. It was so well done. It was so intriguing. I was so gripped and hooked. I love weird houses. That is, like, something that I just, like, am obsessed with. Like, I love a weird house. Recently I read The Starling House, and it's just, like, casually weird. And it's not, like, a big deal. And I just love that kind of setting and atmosphere. Johnny's chapters were nice, or his, I guess not chapters, his footnotes were nice because it would break up some of the text. Like, every once in a while I would get very slogged down with the analysis of the Navidson Records and what people were speculating on, and every once in a while I was just like, I can't handle it. And then we'd switch to Johnny's footnotes for a little bit, and it would kind of, like, give me, like, a little bit of a break, like a restart, to jump back into it. And it was kind of nice to break up all of the text that way, because this book is long, it's pointless, there is no point in reading it. there is no plot, it is pointless. I hate Johnny, though. Johnny is a terrible character to follow. I don't trust him. He's such an unreliable narrator. I don't believe half the stories, if any of the stories. But it wasn't until Kayla's live show, where she started talking about the theories that people have, that I was starting to get real into it. And then once she was, like, proposing the idea that Zampano or Zampano's wife wrote all of this, and Zampano's wife being Johnny's mom, who we read all the letters from, and her being in assisted care facility for her mental health, whatever that place is, the thought of, like, her being the one that wrote this, or Zampano writing it, and then just imagining having the son, and then based off the ending, like, how that kind of incorporated and all that stuff. So I thought that the theories were the most fun, and I definitely want to dive more into people's theories and what they think. So the big question at the end, what am I rating this? Would I rate it again? Rating, I want to say it's like, it's so hard because I like the writing. I like the characters. I really, like, felt emotion. It was sad. This book is fucking heartbreaking, man. Like, this is a sad story, and it's good, but it's just bogged down by so much information that at times it's bad. But, like, still, like, in a very interesting and well done way. So, like, I want to say, like, 4 stars, but I truly, like, don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to wrap my head around this one. This one is baffling. It technically took me 6 months, because I started it and then I read a few pages and, like, I stopped reading it. And I finally, like, set a deadline to pick it up. So I really read this in, like, 3 days, which is wild. Would I read this again? Yes. I think in a few years, many years, if I ever feel like the itch or the craving to give it another try, I would. I think I would read it the way that Aaron read it, where I would go chapter by chapter, Navidson Records, and then Johnny's footnotes, and kind of just enjoy it that way, because I really loved, like, I honestly think that I would reread this in a year or two, just the Navidson Records, and, like, forget all of Johnny's existence, because I truly love that storyline. And I just think that's an enjoyable way to do it. But I kid you not, there was a moment when I'd put this down. I read the Johnny's mom's letters, like, at work one day months ago, and I kind of, like, I knew the letters and I didn't know why they were important or, like, what they had to do with anything. And then, like, there was some point once the book started getting, like, a little bit strange and stuff, where, like, it clicked that was Johnny's mom, and, like, the whole book started coming into more perspective, and I was like, I'm starting to get things now. And that was, like, my little dumb aha moment, which was clear to everybody else but me. But those are my thoughts. I'm done. I've read this. I finished it. I'm gonna read Heartstopper Volume 5 after this as my break, because yes, this did take me 6 months to read, but hey, the vlog can finally be done because it was all hindering on this one book. So I've done it. I feel so accomplished to say that I have read this. I did skim a lot, which makes me feel like maybe a little less accomplished, but like I still read most of this with my own 2 eyes because there's no audiobook, which is honestly like a little ableist. I understand. It's not the point. Like, you have to experience it. But like, my dyslexia hated this experience so much. I have never read a book slower in my entire life. Like, it would take me 2 hours to read 30 pages, and like that's just like not normal for me. Like, I'm a slow reader and I will own up to that, but that is like, this was bafflingly slow to read. So I'm glad the experience is done, just because I'm ready for a break. I'm ready to just like enjoy the last couple weeks of this year and just light reading from now on. But I'm so glad that I've read it to say that I've done it. That's all. That's it. I'm done. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out. Oh boy, howdy. Thanks, Kayla. This was the most pain and joy I've experienced in a book. It's just so much. It's just so much. If you've read this and you want to talk to me, because I would love to talk about it, none of my friends have read this. So if anyone watching this video has read this book, please message me and like let me scream into the void with you, because of what is happening. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Toodles.